I'm 87 years old, and my name is on 3 buildings in this city, a fact that means very little to me now. I used to think ownership was the point of it all, to have something solid, something with your name on it, that would outlast you. But you get to my age, and you realize stones don't remember you. People do, or they don't. That's the thing that keeps me up at night. If my story resonates with you, I'd appreciate it if you'd let me know in the comments. It helps to know someone is listening. When I was a young man, just starting out, I had a mentor. His name was Arthur. He ran a small machine shop. Nothing fancy. The place always smelled of grease and hot metal. He wasn't rich, not by a long shot, but he was patient. He taught me how to read blueprints, how to work a lathe, how to see the potential in a block of raw steel. I'd come to him with my ideas, grand plans for factories and production lines, and he'd just listen, nodding slowly. He'd ask me questions I hadn't thought of. "Who are you building this for, son?" Not what, but who. I thought he was being sentimental. I saw him as a stepping stone, a kind old man who knew his trade, but lacked ambition. I was hungry. I wanted to own things. The shop, then the building it was in, then the whole block. My first big success was buying a small parcel of land. I remember holding the deed in my hands. The paper felt heavy, important. I had taken something from the world and made it mine. Arthur came by to congratulate me. He looked at the plans I had for my first factory and smiled. He said, "This is good work, son, but don't forget the people who will work in it. They're not just numbers on a payroll." I thanked him, but I didn't really hear him. I was already thinking about the next acquisition, the next plot of land. I was building an empire of things. The next few decades were a blur of work. 12 14-hour days. I barely saw my wife, my children. I told myself it was for them, this building, this company. It was their inheritance. I'd miss school plays, anniversaries, family dinners. I'd call and apologize, promising to make it up to them. There would always be more time later, I thought, once the next deal was closed, once the next building was finished. The empire needed constant tending. My son, David, he was a quiet boy. He loved to draw. He'd bring me his sketches, little designs for fantastical machines. I'd glance at them, pat him on the head, and say, "That's nice, son. Maybe one day you can design a new factory for me." I didn't see the light go out of his eyes. I was too busy looking at blueprints. I remember one Saturday, David must have been about 10. He'd been working on a model car for weeks, a complicated little thing. He came into my study, holding it carefully. "Dad, can you help me with the axle? It keeps sticking." I was on the phone, closing a deal. I waved him away. "Not now, David. I'm busy. Go ask your mother." He just stood there for a moment, then turned and left without a word. I didn't think about it again. The deal was worth millions. It was a big win. But that afternoon, that was the moment I started to lose him. I just didn't know it yet. These things don't happen all at once. It's a slow leak, a quiet drifting apart that you only notice when the distance is too great to cross. Arthur passed away when I was in my 50s. I was in another city negotiating a merger. I got the call but couldn't make it back for the funeral. I sent a large wreath, the biggest one I could find. I told myself he would have understood. Business is business. A few weeks later, his widow sent me a small, dusty box. Inside was a set of old calipers and a note. It just said, "He was very proud of you. He just wished you'd visit. I put the box in a drawer and went back to work. But something had cracked. I had built so much, owned so much, but I felt a hollowness that no amount of success could fill. I understand now what Arthur was trying to tell me. Ownership is a transaction. Mentorship, that's a connection. It's passing on not just what you know, but who you are. It's investing in a person, not a property. The buildings with my name on them will eventually be torn down or renamed. My wealth will be divided and spent. All the things I accumulated are just things. They don't hold any love. They don't tell my story. My real legacy wasn't in the deeds I signed, but in the hands I could have held, the guidance I could have given. I see young people now chasing the same things I did. They want to be owners. They want their name on something. And I want to stop them, to sit them down and tell them this. Build something, yes, but don't forget to build someone up too. Teach someone what you know. Be the person Arthur was for me. Be the father I should have been for my son. That is the only thing that lasts. The knowledge, the kindness, the time you give to another person, that's the only part of you that truly lives on. The rest is just dust. I spend most of my days now reading. My friend, who's a wonderful writer, has put some of his thoughts into books that capture a lot of what I've learned too late in life. If you're interested, you can find a link to them in the description below. They might offer some of the perspective I wish I'd had. And if anything I've said has meant something to you, I'd be grateful if you'd share this video with someone who might need to hear it. It would mean a lot to know these words found their way to the right person. Thank you for listening to an old man's regrets.